Yeah. Give Texas Tech a lot of credit for battling and finding a way to win down the stretch. I thought we really competed at a high level in the first half, and we're flying around. I thought our pace was terrific on offense. We got a little more bogged down in the second half. Our flow wasn't as good offensively, and they did a really good job hurting us off of our turnovers. If you want to win down the stretch, you got to make more free throws than we made, and then you got to take care of the ball better.
Go ahead and start with Chris.
Shaka, how much does this one hurt? What are the emotions like? Because it seems like everything's pretty raw for you guys, especially with it just being a regular season loss,
Yeah, it hurts a lot, but you have to be a big boy first of all as a coach and then as a player, and watch the tape and look at where we can improve, what we can do better. These games in the Big 12 are really, really intense, and they have a lot of chapters to them, lots of twists and turns. So there's a bunch of stuff that we can take from this game, and we can improve on. It certainly would have been nice to grow from those things after a win, but we had a 4-point lead. I thought the layup that we gave up with a 4-point lead, in the closing minutes was just huge. We didn't do a good job stopping the ball. I think it was McCullough. Just in general, our transition defense in the second half wasn't good enough.
I saw Matt was staying there with Courtney while Courtney was doing his Zoom after Matt had already spoken with us. What does that say about the bond between those two and the bond with this team as a whole, with the players and their connectedness, and how that can help you move forward from this?
Yeah, I mean, those guys are really close, and they put a lot into this. They put a lot into our team and into each other. They practice really, really hard. There's a ton of preparation for a game like this. There's a lot of buildup. I'm not talking about outside of our program. I'm talking about inside of what we're doing, our scouting, our preparation. I'm sure the same thing for Texas Tech on their end. And, it's an emotional thing. Courtney's a guy that can be really hard on himself. And so Matt, just trying to be supportive of him. But I thought Courtney made a lot of really, really positive plays too.
Dustin, go ahead.
Shaka, you mentioned, taking things away from this one to grow. I mean, just the scene afterwards, I mean, this felt like a March game. I mean, these were two high-level teams, super intense. The music, the celebration, is that something you want these guys to kind of put in the back of their head as well as motivation as a competitor, when they're seeing another team celebrate like that?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think you as a competitor, you always have to have a good memory for, every game that you played, especially in league where you're going to play teams again and again and again. But, listen, I think teams have a certain respect level for us, just like we do for other really good teams like Texas Tech. And, they came in here and were 2 points better than us, and, they deserve to celebrate that. It's for us, it's more looking at all the things we can do to improve. And, it starts with us being, the most connected group we can be, even after a loss. And that's doesn't come as naturally as maybe, everyone feeling so good after a win like West Virginia.
The points off turnover is such a bizarre stat for you guys, because you guys pride yourself on deflections. And I think, in the first half, your defensive energy looked like it was good. I mean, how do you explain is that just kind of a fluke thing, or was it the way Texas Tech plays offense to where they kind of get a lot of one-on-one situations where you're not really getting a lot of chances to run back up the floor off turnovers?
No, I mean, I think it was a combination of too many turnovers by us, and the combination of that, and then they did a good job, capitalizing on them. Um, the fact that we had no points off turnovers, they only had 7, so they did a better job taking care of the basketball than we did. But yeah, I thought defensively our energy was terrific in the first half. Um, they actually made some really, really tough shots. So they deserve credit for that, because if they hadn't have made those in the first half, it would have the margin would have been even bigger at halftime. But I thought in the second half they just really, unfortunately, really similar to last year here, they just really were the aggressors, and that ended up being a big difference.
Bob, go ahead.
Yeah, Shaka, Courtney said he wanted to put the loss on himself. Obviously, that's a little much for everything that goes on in a game. But what do you think happened on that inbounds play late? And were you surprised to see him kind of make a play like that? It's pretty uncharacteristic.
Yeah, I mean, he's usually really, really good in that situation. I'll have to watch the tape. I think they got their wires crossed. I think Courtney felt like Matt was coming to the ball. I think Matt was trying to maybe cut the other way or set his man up. We all would love to have that play back. We had timeouts, but you kind of you put the ball in those guys' hands, because those guys have made so many good plays, and I wouldn't trade those guys for anyone. We'll be right back at it in our next game, and I'll continue to put the ball in those guys' hands.
And then did Tech on that final play with 3 seconds left, did they defend that in a way that you didn't expect, or did you get out of that? Were you trying to get Matt to get up the floor and have an option there?
We had an option to throw it long, but it just wasn't there. And I thought Brock made the right decision. And, Matt did the best he could in the time he had. It actually, the shot wasn't close, but with 3 seconds left, it's probably not a bad shot to get. We didn't make it, but obviously the killer was the plays before that. Like I said, especially we were up 4 a few plays prior, and they went and got a transition layup. We just didn't stop the ball. That was big. And then obviously the turnover on the press inbounds.
Nick, you're up.
Yeah, Shaka, Greg was out here for the last 20, 25 minutes, just, getting shots up. Look, obviously he took the loss hard, all the guys did, but it's a little different for him because he hasn't had the highs and lows at this level yet. But, what do you say to him after a game like this, being a freshman, compared to the other guys who are a little more experienced with this?
Well, I thought he was terrific on defense. I thought he really, really defended at a high level, and he gets mad at me. I tell him all the time he's got just as much or more potential on defense than he has on. I just think he could be long term as good as anybody on defense, with his length and athleticism and anticipation skills. The charge that he took, he took multiple charges, but the one he took at the end there was huge. And if we do a good job getting the ball in bounds, and we're really, really in a good spot to win the game. But he was out there shooting free throws because he was 3 for 5 from the line, and because as a team we were 18 for 31, and we lost a 2-point game. So, he what's great about him is he's willing to internalize lessons and coaching, and that's why he's going to keep getting better.
And then just, real quick on Jace, he's been suited up and stuff, but hasn't played. Is that close to happening, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully, he's been practicing. He's not 100% yet, but hopefully we can get him closer and closer to that soon.
Brian, go ahead.
Hey, Shaka, what did Tech do defensively on Andrew in the second half? He only had 1 shot in 16 minutes after the break.
Yeah, we'll look at the tape. He kind of early in the half, slipped a couple times on drives. We definitely, one thing that they did a better job of was not leaving him as much when other guys drove. But even like in the first half, a lot of his baskets were, when he already had the ball. So that's, again, it's eerily similar to last year because he had a big first half last year against them. And then the second half didn't go as well. But I'll have to look at the tape and see exactly what they did. I think it was more a matter of he just seemed a little more off balance for whatever reason. And, we just have to do a better job creating opportunities for him.
And then Arthur told me that it was your idea to turn on the fake crowd noise. What's up with that? Did you want to have just more ambiance?
Well, I don't know if it was my idea as much as we had done it before. And then they used it in Asheville when we were there. It's tough, man, for the guys. It's just so different. And obviously our job is to react and be flexible and be adaptable. But I mean, our bench is trying to give great energy, and then we get a technical foul on our bench, and I'm not saying it was a wrong call. I'm just saying, like, these guys are trying to adapt and figure out how to be the best we can be without having a crowd out there in terms of energy. And there's no perfect answer.
And on that note, I mean, as of right now, there's no telling when y'all are going to play in front of fans again. This, at home. This could be the norm, maybe the rest of the way, for as far as anybody knows. I mean, how much have you talked with the guys about that?
Haven't really talked to them about like long term, Brian, but we talk about it going into the game, and we just talk about how we need our bench to have great energy, which in the first half I thought we did. I thought in the second half, for whatever reason, some of it might have been frustration. Some of it might have been, a little bit of avoidance. But I just didn't think we had the same juice overall that we needed to have as a team. So that's something to learn from and get better at.
Time for one last one. Go ahead, Cedric.
Yeah, Shaka, last couple of years, you got your teams have gone into games hoping to win. Now these guys are really crushed when they don't because they know they're a good team. What does that say about the work they've put in, particularly your juniors and seniors who have been through the ups and downs over the last few years?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they've been through a lot together over the last couple of years, and they definitely have an expectation to go take the game. And I know that we can actually take a really good lesson from tonight in that, and it's 40 minutes and you've got to stay the aggressor. You got to come out of halftime and really set a tone that first 5 minutes. But obviously the other team has good guys that really wants to win too. But I do appreciate, Cedric, that our guys, they really have a passion for each other and for their team. And, what goes along with that is you do feel devastated after a game like this, and you just have to quickly turn the page.